You know it isn't good news when you start the review off the word well, like Norman, whatever his name is, Norman Krasner, whatever his name is from the Drift Tracks films. Anyway, we got a long, oh man, number 30, I think we're 34 here. Andrei Tarkovsky's Andrei Rublev. Why am I saying look? Runtime 205 minutes. That's no, I won't throw it just yet. That's almost 3.5 hours of and it's in Russian too. Oh man, this one was tricky. And because it was tricky, we'll keep it short. Basically, it's about a painter who lived in the 15th century, and crazy shit that happens. It's very similar to there's another Criterion film. I think it's similar to Armored in the sense that like it's a bunch of little vignettes that have a thin plot. It's about Andrei Rublev, but it's more about the people surrounding him, and how they connect to his life. So yeah, that's all I can say. There's not much to really say about this film. I mean, that cannot be said. Because it's very dialogue heavy, so you gotta pay attention. I feel like I missed a lot of lines because my eyes went away, and I didn't want to rewind back because it would take forever for the subtitles to come back on based on where the play button, play menu, whatever it calls it. And yes, as far as Tarkovsky's direction is concerned, like I said, he decided to focus more on the little stories and how they connected versus, just showing Andrei, instead of just showing Rublev on the screen for, over half the duration of the film. And he is in it, it's not like he's like some Godot character or anything like that. But it's, like I said, there's a lot of other people involved rather than just Rublev. And because of that, it's kind of hard to understand. And like I said, the length it's pretty weighty. So therefore, it'd be hard for me to really do the whole plot for you right now. There are scenes such as where the horse falls off the staircase while being shot. There's a lot of animal abuse in this movie. The guy, I think, where Kirill whips the dog, and where the horse falls off the staircase after being hit by an arrow, and set the cow on fire, and just crazy shit. The guy pulls the jester, has the face painted on his butt. It's kind of unnecessary. And it's like this Andrei Rublev is just kind of like this guy that shit happens to him and he just takes it. He tries to live, but he's just almost an everyman, except he's not just everyman. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, apparently, what's even interesting to note is that apparently Tarkovsky, the director, the film said that when it was sent, because he's Russian, and when it was sent to the Russian Film Board, they were totally against the film. They banned it because they were, I guess at the time, I don't know if they still are, but in an atheist country, or Russia's, they I guess didn't tie into any set religious, they didn't have any religious ties. So, and because half the movie is about Rublev's faith and religious, the painting the cathedral and churches and all that, they didn't want it in there, of course, and also they complained about the nudity, violence, and all that. Probably the scene where they the soldiers gouged the artist's artisans' eyes out, probably stunned them a little. So yeah, they're probably complaining about that. And so Rublev cut about, I think, 20 minutes of the film, cutting it down to like 3 hours, about 3 hours long. And when Criterion got a hold of this, they restored the whole thing. But apparently, Tarkovsky changed his mind as he reviewed it. He himself changed his mind and decided to edit out scenes that ran on too long. And he himself considers the 3-hour version the definitive version. Whereas, but however, we get to see all the 20 minutes that he changed his mind about, because they're Criterion and we like films, we like movies, and we're white. God, how many times am I going to be racist and like make that race thing and say that the Criterion are a bunch of white people? But there you go. I mean, it's not true, but there you go. Here we go again. Anyway, what do I give this movie? Well, because there was a thin plot, and the way it was divvied up into chapters or sections, I'm not giving it an F or D. I'll give it a C. I'll give it a solid C because it runs on a little too long, I feel, and because I'm not totally crazy about the whole doesn't center around Rublev, because I was hoping that, first of all, I thought this was like, when I found out it was about a painter, I thought it was going to be like a documentary, but not just like a story, like, drama. But there you go. And yeah, so I give it a C because it just runs on a little too long, doesn't focus on Rublev as much as I want it to, and yeah, it just gets a little confusing, and some of the scenes it's just too long for me. When Seven Samurai was interesting because I think it ran on a little bit longer than Rublev, but that had action and likable scenes and characters. The characters were ones you could tie into with, like Kurosawa knows how to tell a good story, and it's all one big concise and concisive. We're making up words. Concisive plot. So yeah. So with that movie, even though it's about 3.5 hours long, it keeps your attention. This, on the other hand, requires you to know some form of like Russian history, which absolutely. So yeah, I just felt really detached, and because of that, I can't give it any more than a C. It's a movie, but it's a long ass movie. I was gonna say boring movie, but it got my attention every once in a while. So, and it did have some good dialogue in there. As far as the translations were concerned, I wonder if they'll ever remaster this and improve. I feel like they could improve the translations, because that's another thing that I think a lot of these earlier Criterion suffered from when they did translations. It's like they left words out, or like they tried to simplify it as best as It's like they'll show a line and then the characters will just keep talking, and it's like, I don't really think that they're saying just what you're giving us, So I think that this is another one of those DVDs that suffers the edition, maybe. But who knows? Yeah, maybe Rublev will get remastered by a Criterion Collection reissued with better subtitles, because they're always talking about improved English translation, on the back, whenever they redo them. So why don't they do it to this one? Might get yourself a better rating. Let's see. Anyway, so next up, what's next? Diablique. I think we're at number 30. That'll be number 35. That's sitting right over there on the box, my laptop box. We'll probably get to that one Tuesday. We'll get to that one Tuesday. Thankfully, it's only 2 hours. I can do 2-hour movies. I've been trained to do 2-hour movies. It's in French. but still, it sounds like an interesting movie. Sounds it's a murder, blood, creepiness. Sounds like one that I might get into. You know, it's more about direction. You know, there's a plot, but this is probably going to be a good like shots and all that. You know. And then after that, we got Wages of Fear, which we'll probably do Thursday or Friday. And Time Bandits, which we'll do probably next Sunday or Saturday, probably. And then I don't know what's after that. I forget what's after that, but we'll just keep going from there. So thanks for watching. If you give this one a miss, I'm not gonna come to your house and hurt you. The Grand Prince or his Grand Prince's brother might, but that's because he's an asswipe. And on that note, we'll see you Tuesday for Diabolique. Goodbye.